Hello, hello, hello. This video is going to be another addition to my childhood triggers series. I thought it would be very relaxing for me and for you if I read some of these little golden books from my childhood. My mom would always read these to me, like bedtime stories, and I really love these little books. They're super simple. Unfortunately, I don't have any from my actual childhood. I just have picked a few up over the years at half-price books. So these are not, authentic Sky childhood, but that's okay. I think I'm going to do half of this video soft-spoken and the other half in whisper. I know that some people prefer whispering, some people prefer soft-spoken, so I'll try my best to accommodate both of those. So, also, before I forget, if you remember these from your childhood, if there's any that, in particular you loved as a child or even as an adult, let me know and I will see if I can find the book and I will definitely do a reading of it. So just let me know. I figured we would start with Beauty and the Beast because Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney story, Disney movie, Disney princess. Belle is my favorite. So it was only fitting to start with Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, adapted by Teddy Slater, illustrated by Rick Gonzalez and Ron Diaz. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a young prince in a beautiful castle. Although he had everything his heart desired, the prince was spoiled and selfish. One winter's night, an old beggar woman asked the prince for shelter from the bitter cold. In return, she offered him a rose. Repulsed by the old woman, the unkind prince turned her away. The woman warned him not to be deceived by appearances, since beauty is found within. But when the prince dismissed her again, the old woman's ugliness melted away to reveal a beautiful enchantress. The prince tried to apologize, but it was too late. The enchantress knew that there was no love in his heart. As punishment, the enchantress transformed the prince into a hideous beast. Then she placed a powerful spell on the castle and all who lived there. The rose she had offered was an enchanted rose. It would bloom until the prince was 21. If he could learn to love and be loved before the last petal fell, then the spell would be broken. If not, he would remain a beast for all time. Ashamed of his monstrous form, the beast hid inside the castle. A magic mirror was his only window to the outside world. As the years passed, he fell into despair. He did not believe that anyone could ever love him. Slowly, the rose began to wither. In a nearby village, there lived a young girl named Belle. She was very, very beautiful, but Belle, unlike the other girls in the village, cared only for her books and always felt out of place. Her father, Maurice, was a reader of books too, but while Belle read about adventure and romance, her father studied technical books. Maurice was an inventor, a genius according to Belle, a crackpot according to the townsfolk. Belle is even stranger than her father, the villagers whispered. Her nose is always in a book, and her head is in the clouds. Gaston, the hunter, who was the handsomest man in town, wanted to make Belle his wife. No matter how many times she turned him down, Gaston would not take no for an answer. He was determined to wed the lovely Belle, even though she thought he was a brainless brute. One cold day, Maurice hitched his horse Philippe to a wagon and set off to show his latest invention at a faraway fair. With his mind on the fair, Maurice became lost in a misty forest. As an icy wind whistled through the trees, he suddenly heard an even more disturbing sound, the howling of wolves. Philippe bolted, and Maurice fell to the ground. To escape the wolves, the frightened man ran deeper and deeper into the woods. He came to a castle that seemed deserted and stumbled inside. There, Maurice was greeted by Mrs. Potts, the teapot, Cogsworth, the mantel clock, and Lumiere, the candelabra. But before he had time to marvel over these strange creatures, an even stranger one appeared, the beast. When Maurice stared at the beast in horror, the beast howled angrily. Then he scooped Maurice up and carried him off to a dungeon. Meanwhile, Philippe had made his way back home. Belle took one look at the riderless horse and knew something awful had happened to her father. "Philippe, take me to him," she cried, leaping astride the exhausted horse. Without a pause, the animal thundered off toward the woods. When she reached the castle, Belle burst inside and searched frantically for her father. The enchanted objects led her to the tower, but just as she found Maurice, the beast appeared. Belle let out a terrified gasp at the hideous sight of the beast. When she realized that this was Maurice's captor, Belle begged the beast to free her father. When he refused, she bravely offered herself in Maurice's place. "No, Belle," Maurice cried, even as the beast said, "Done." Before Belle could bid her father goodbye, the beast led her to her room. "The castle is now your home," he said gruffly. Belle was free to go anywhere she liked, except the West Wing. "You will join me for dinner," the beast ordered. "That's not a request." Still, Belle refused, and the beast stomped off in anger. That night, Belle slipped out of her room and found a way to the forbidden West Wing. She discovered the beast's foul lair, but he was nowhere in sight. Belle was drawn to the enchanted rose she saw by the window. When she reached out to touch it, the beast suddenly appeared on the balcony outside the window. Belle screamed and fled the room. Her heart pounding, Belle ran out of the castle, mounted Philippe, and fled into the night. But a pack of wolves soon had the girl and her horse surrounded. Belle was helpless. She knew that death was near. Suddenly, the beast was there, throwing the wolves aside. A terrible snarling and howling sounded as the beast and the wolves battled for their lives. At last, the wolves ran off into the woods, but the beast lay in the snow, badly injured. Back at the castle, Belle gently bound the beast's wounds. Gentle as she was, the beast roared in agony. I barely touched you, Belle said. Then she saw a look of pain on his face. I forgot to thank you for saving my life, she added softly. The beast only grunted in reply, but when Belle turned away, the hint of a smile could be seen on his face. Now I'm going to switch to a whisper. I will definitely mark this in the description box. In the days that followed, the beast tried to be a proper host. He showed Belle his library, where they read together, and she, in return, began to teach him how to act like a gentleman. Perhaps it isn't too late, Cogsworth whispered to Mrs. Potts and her son, Chip the teacup. If Belle could only love the beast, this dreadful spell might yet be broken. The winter had passed pleasantly for Belle and the beast. Belle thought of the beast as her dearest friend. He thought of little but the beautiful Belle. One night, while Belle was teaching him to dance, the beast stammered, "Belle, are you happy here with me?" "Yes," said Belle without hesitation, but the beast saw a trace of sadness in her eyes. Then Belle added, "If only I could see my father again, even for a minute." "You can," said the beast, handing her the magic mirror. Belle gazed into it with wonder, for there was Maurice trudging through the forest, but he looked frail and old, even as she watched her father collapse in a heap. "I must go to him," Belle cried. "He might be dying." The beast heard her anguished plea. "I release you," he said sadly, "but take the mirror. Then you will always have a way to look back and remember me." With the magic mirror to guide her, Belle soon found her father, but their happy reunion was cut short with the pounding on the cottage door. "We've come to take Maurice to Maison des Lunes," announced Monsieur d'Arc, director of the village's insane asylum. "No," Belle cried, "my father isn't crazy." Gaston's friend, Lefou, stepped forward. "Maurice has been raving that you were imprisoned by a hideous beast," he said. "Only a crazy man would tell such a tale." "But it's true," Belle protested. Her worried eyes searched the angry crowd and lit on Gaston. "Gaston," she cried, "you know my father isn't crazy. Tell them." Gaston quickly drew Belle to one side, and he whispered that he might be able to calm the crowd if Belle would promise to marry him. "Never," Belle exclaimed, "and my father is not crazy. There really is a beast, and I can prove it." his arms. Mrs. Potts